Okay, selamat datang semua to today's session. Alhamdulillah, in this 30th May of 20th Ramadan, we'll be able to join this session, which is a webinar sharing session on online teaching and learning series at UTeM, organized by CAES. For your information, we already have this seminar last week and this week. And today, we are very fortunate to have our speakers, our speaker, Dr. Zakiah Binti Abd Halim, that will share with us a very interesting topic, which is creating a simple virtual lab. I believe yesterday we have a very interesting session with Dr. Zakiah, where Dr. Zakiah had shared with us on how to create animated GIF. And today we have another interesting session which is relevant to us in trying to prepare good content materials for our student learning, which is creating a simple virtual lab. Okay. So before we begin, although we can clearly see Dr. Zakiah's photo in the slide, but let me briefly introduce Dr. Zakiah so that we know her much better. Okay, Dr. Zakiah is a lecturer at Faculty of Mechanical Engineering, University Technical Malaysia Melaka, UTeM. Okay, and she had obtained her PhD in Mechanical Engineering from UTeM in 2018 and Master of Engineering Science at University New South Wales in 2006. And then she has a very good interest and very passion in related to structural integrity of plant equipment, and she is a certified ultrasonic inspector for steel plate level 1 and pipe level 2. That is from the base of her mechanical engineering background. Related to engineering education, she is a very enthusiastic educator which has which is equipped by an Apple teacher and a certified Microsoft innovative educator. So I am very we are very much looking forward to the sharing. And by the way, I am Jariah Mohamad Juoi, that will be the moderator of this session. And sorry, everybody, use the mic. We can reduce the noise. Okay, so we will start basically by 10:30, and you can always throw out any question in the chat session, and Dr. Zakiah will respond to that. But officially by 11:30, we have a dedicated question and answer session, and you may unmute your mic if you have any question throughout the session, and feel free to participate actively during this session. So without further ado, I humbly invited Dr. Zakiah Binti Abd Halim to share with us the session on creating a simple virtual lab. Pass to Dr. Zakiah. Doctor?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jariah. Okay, thank you for the introduction. Okay, let me share my screen first. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen now? Dr. Jariah, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, all right. Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. Okay, my name is Zakiah Binti Abd Halim from Fakulti Kejuruteraan Mechanical. Okay, my background as Dr. Jariah informed is non-destructive testing and structural health integrity. So basically our session today, we will use iPad or Mac. But if you don't have any of the device, you can also follow this session to get insight what you can do for your student with your own device. Okay, so before we begin, those with iPad or Mac, I would encourage you to download the keynote files in the Google Drive. I believe Dr. Mariam and Dr. Jariah already shared in the chat box. Okay. Right, so creating a virtual lab. So before I show, we go further, let me show you my simple virtual lab first. Okay, can you see the screen? There's a plan inspector there. Dr. Jariah?
Yes.
Can you see the plant inspector?
No, not yet. The screen is black.
Okay, all right. Let me reshare. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, I can see plant inspector. Very good.
Okay. Okay, so basically this is my simple virtual lab. Okay, so I name it as a plant inspector because I'm teaching non-destructive testing. So non-destructive testing is a subject for final year student. Okay, and those who are taking these subjects are usually from material punya elective lah. Alright, so this one is the first interface of the my virtual lab. Okay, so I divide it into five main topic, which is industry. So the second one is the pre-knowledge, methods, quiz, and task. So in terms of the first one, so the industry is basically show where is the application of the NDT. Right. So basically this is still under construction. So mostly animation is 90% already finished, but I haven't put any audio in it yet. Okay, so you can see that this button allows the student to navigate according to what they think important for them, which one they want to learn first. Okay, so let's say they don't want to go to the introduction, so they want to straight away go to knowledge, right? So this is the area of what is important pre-knowledge before they start the NDT course, right? So for example, this one is the definition for NDT. So this one is suitable for beginners. So because before we start any experiment, so the student should know the basic knowledge on the testing, right? Okay, so or maybe they already learned, they know the knowledge beforehand, so they want to straight away go to the methods. They can choose any methods, but currently only the ultrasonic testing that almost ready to show. Okay, the rest are still under construction. So let's say I touch on the ultrasonic. So in ultrasonic, again, it will be divided into 5 subtopics. The first one is the principle, because each NDT method, excuse me, has their own principle. So if the student wants to know more on the principle, they can touch on the, can select on the principle, and let's say they want to know what is the sound range for the ultrasonic, so they can study on that, right? So it is animated and it is also has sound. Okay, for example, this one is sound range. But so ultrasonic testing is fall between 2 megahertz and 200 megahertz, right? So let's say the students already know about the principle. Okay, they can select back or directly again to the ultrasonic testing to do the to know about the procedure. Okay, so the procedure for ultrasonic testing is divided into straight beam and angle beam. This is where the main component of the visual lab. Okay, for example, the straight beam. So I divide it into calibration procedure, measurement procedure, and defect characterization. Okay, so basically, in order to do that experiment, students need to calibrate first. So they have to go step by step. So let's go to the calibration procedure.
Adjust the test range to the maximum distance we want to inspect. Adjust the material velocity according to material of inspection. Adjust the P delay so that the initial pulse starts from 0. Adjust the D delay so that the backward echo appear at the end of test range. Adjust the magnitude.
Okay, so this one, if we have different thickness, okay, so this is how it is should be measured. So the student know what is the step. First step is calibration. Once they finish calibration, okay, and then they can do the measurement, right? So also the how the defect to characterize the defect. So this one, the audio is not ready yet. Sorry. Okay. Dr. Jariah, can you see?
You can see.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, all right. So this one is the steps in terms of straight beam transducer from the calibration to the procedure until the defect characterization. So let's say they already know about the procedure and they want to do the test, the visual test. Okay. So they can choose whether it is thickness measurement, lamination defect, or welding defect. So for example, this one is for thickness measurement. Okay, so they are given tasks. Okay, so that they can choose which one they want to start first. Okay, so they can do their observation from this lab, or then select on different thickness and see what happened and observe to what happened to the signal. And when they change the thickness, they can see what happened to the signal movement, and then they can relate their observation in terms of the thickness, different thickness, and also the signal that appear. Okay, so basically that's all about my virtual lab. So today I would like to show you. Okay, wait first. Let me create this first. Okay, so let me share another one. Okay, how to show, how to create that virtual lab. Okay. Okay. Okay, so can you see my screen now?
Okay, clear.
Okay, introduction to engineering.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
right. So how about the rest? Okay, so this one is the workbook, okay, for today's session. Okay, you can download it from the link that Dr. Jariah shared in the chat box, right? So how do I design my virtual lab is using link. Okay, so here in this slide, there is in this workbook, there is a sample of 13 slides. Okay, you can go one by one. Okay, this one is the main page. This one is the second page consisting of material processing and material behavior. Right, so this one is the gym that you have seen yesterday. Okay, and each slide has their own title. Right. Okay, so 13 slide. So in the first slide is introduction. This is, for example, I make it for introduction to engineering. Let's say this is a subject before for student before they maybe for SPM student. Let's say they want to decide which whether they want to choose mechanical and manufacturing or electrics and electronics. So just to give them insight, what will they learn in that engineering? Okay, so there is mechanical and manufacturing, electrics and electronics. So we divide them into these two main topics, right? So, but in mechanical and manufacturing, I divide it to two more subtopics, which is material processing and material behavior. Right. So if you notice in my workbook that I shared previously, there is a button here, right? So this here is home. Okay. So this button, okay, if you select this, it will bring you to the first slide. Okay. The second one is here. Okay, this plant inspector, and another one I refer this as for this sensor system. So how to do that? To link slide from one slide to another slide. Okay, let's begin. Okay, let's go to the first slide first. Okay, so select this one, tap on that.
Dr. Zakiah,
Yes.
there's one question from Dr. Hairul Anwar. How to open the workbook in the chat?
Okay, how to open the work? Okay.
Okay.
Can you download it? Have you downloaded it?
Dr. Anwar, Dr. Hairul Anwar, can you download? Okay.
Okay, so you download it first. You have to download it first. Okay, so and
Assalamualaikum.
yeah.
Dr. Zakiah, saya Mami. Okey, saya cuba download virtual lab workbook tu, tapi dia tak pergi ke Keynote dan dia ada satu page sahaja.
Oh, dia satu page sahaja?
Betul.
Okay,
okay, yang lain work.
Can you use the new link that shared in the chat box?
Yes. I've copied the link from the chat box and then send it to my email, and it's sent to drivegoogle.com. But it's only the first slide, introduction to engineering. I'm not really sure about others.
Okay, how about others? So because this is in my Google Drive. Okay, so and it has 13 slides in there. Okay, so how about the rest? Can anybody successful in downloading the workbook? Okay, because I cannot see the wait.
No response from others. I'm not really sure. So yang I punya satu je, lepas tu dia tak dalam Keynote pun. Sebelum ni yang masa you share, untuk yang previous session, I boleh share dan I boleh open dalam Keynote.
Okay, can you re-download it because there is the other can download it.
Okay, sure. You can proceed. I'll try again. Thank you.
Okay, right.
Rasanya ada yang boleh download, but saya sebab saya access guna handphone ni, so sikit lah nak download. So maybe daripada laptop lah. Yang lain ada yang dah respond boleh download.
Okay. So I can see that do you need to install certain app? If you have iPad or MacBook, you don't have to download anything because Keynote is the pre-installed apps in the MacBook and iPad. So you just use Keynote. Okay. So right. So let me show you. Okay, how to open. Right. So now you are looking at my screen iPad, right? Can you see this symbol? The one, okay, let me, okay. So this symbol, the blue one, okay. So that one is the Keynote symbol. Okay. So this one is the workbook.
Dr. Zakiah tak nampak
Okay.
screen.
Yes, tak nampak. Okay, alright. Let me reshare. Okay, check.
Dr. Zakiah akan tengah try share content ke?
Ya.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, boleh nampak ke sekarang Dr. Mariam?
Belum. Tak nampak?
Belum?
Belum.
Nampak. Okay. What happened to this? Okay, let me reshare my screen. Okay, server. Okay, so how about this?
Yes. Slide introduction to engineering kan?
Yes.
Okay.
Introduction to engineering.
Yep.
Okay, alright. So let's start. Okay, so those who have successful downloaded the workbook, you can open it. Okay, so
Yang tanya ni how to open in Google Chrome and those using Windows 10.
okay, this one is only for MacBook and iPad only. Okay, so for those who don't have iPad or MacBook, you can watch how I do it. Okay, because maybe you can find another apps that's suitable with your device, Android device or Windows. Okay, right? May I proceed? Okay, so for those who can open it, right? So touch on the mechanical and manufacturing. Okay, select link. Right, so we want this slide. When we touch the button mechanical and manufacturing, it will link to our second slide. So usually I prefer to use link to slide number. Okay, and we can select the slide number. We can choose also next slide, but it is sometimes I prefer link to slide number because when we tap on the mechanical and manufacturing, let me test. Okay, so it will automatically go to our second slide. Okay, so that one is for the link mechanical and manufacturing. Right, so let's do for electrics and electronics link. Right, so for this slide, it should link to the link it. Okay, so let's test again. So this one is the electrical, touch on the electrics and electronics And we can go directly to this slide. Okay, so similarly, okay, we can plan our lab. So this one is you see is button home. Okay, so this button home, okay, meaning to say when we tap on that button, we will go to the first slide. And this inspector button, when we tap, okay, we will go to the second slide. And this Wi-Fi signal, when we tap it, we will go to the slide number 8. But sometimes, okay, we will, some people prefer the back and next button, right? So we can add that, okay, plus, okay, choose plus here, okay, and select this one, right? So we put this as back, and we can copy it. Tap on that, copy, and paste. So this one will be next. And this one, if you want to exit, okay. So we have to design our virtual lab so that it allows the student to navigate it freely. So can you see the buttons?
Okay,
Right?
right.
Okay. So how to link all the buttons? Okay. Okay. Alright. So when you have this button, we have to link it. What is the For example, for home, we want to link at the link slide number 1. Okay, so we cannot do, alright, because in this symbol, there is two different components. Okay, we cannot link for if there is two shape. Okay, let's say we combine them. Okay, here, when we tap, we can link it. But let's combine, make it a group. But we cannot link it. So we have to ungroup it first. And this is link number 2 to all the shape. Right, so this signal is linked to number 8. Okay, so but there are students that prefer back and next button. So we have to accommodate them. Right, so back to say link is the previous slide. Next will be next slide. So exit, we can go to the first slide, okay, or create another slide to end the session. Okay, but this one I choose to exit and go to link number 1. So next, for the material processing, okay, let's go and study a bit on this. Okay, phase transformation, how do you think? It is under material behavior or material processing or material behavior? Anyone want to share your thought? So phase transformation should be under material behavior. Okay, magnetic field characteristic, we can put it also under material behavior. So electrocatalytic process, okay, even though there is a process there, but it is usually is under material behavior. Processing under material processing, and also injection molding process we can put as a material processing, right? So in terms of material processing, how to link to the
Dr.
slide.
Zakiah,
Yes.
maaf sangat. Ada bunyi bising lah. So saya tak pasti sama ada daripada mana sebab mungkin semua boleh mute ke kecuali Dr. Zakiah dengan host. Thank you.
Okay. For information, we have mute all participants. It probably the network or line on Dr. Zakiah. Is it?
I don't think so because I think it's from the participant.
Oh, okay.
Because
Just
mine
the line kot. Sebab kita dah mute semua participant.
Okay. So
Okay.
sebab dekat
Boleh try kot. Boleh proceed kot, cuma kita kena bear lah hopefully. Hopefully kita pun tak sure macam mana kan dah buat yang apa, all the technical tu dah take into account kan. Okay.
So okay, you are looking at my material processing, right? The slide on material processing. Okay. Okay, so memang ada bunyi bising. Saya pun dah mute and unmute. So it's still the persistent baca. Okay.
Maksudnya post kan?
Yeah.
Sebab dia tak mute-kan dia punya mic ni.
Okay.
Tapi boleh proceed lah.
Okay, I just proceed. Okay, so let's look at material processing. Okay, so the first slide for the material processing is the rolling process. So we have to link to link 6 and 7. Okay, so material processing, link it to the choose link slide number 6. Okay, so here we can link to again number 6. Okay, we give option whether the students want to tap on the text or on the symbol. Alright, so for the material behavior, we link it to link slide number 3. Material behavior, link number 3. Okay. Right, so once we already link, okay, we can select all the symbol. Okay, how to select it is you touch on the symbol and home. Okay, copy it and paste to the next slide. Okay, so similarly, back, next and exit. For the text, the blue button. Okay, so this in every slide. Okay, so paste the button in each slide after we link it to the slide. Okay, don't worry about the link first because we can always adjust the link. Okay, so this one again select. Okay, paste on the each slide so that each slide has the button. Okay, and we can arrange the link. Okay. Okay, so let's test. Okay. So this one is on the material processing. So we want to know where the slide bring us if we tap on the text. Okay, so we go to the rolling process. Okay, so what happens if we touch on next? Okay, so it will go to the injection molding. So how about back? So we will go to the rolling process back. Right, so when we touch on the sensor, it will bring us to the slide number 8, which is the sensor system. Alright, so let's look when we tap on next, right? So we can have the LIDAR sensor, and back, it will back to the sensor system. Okay, right? So let's do some editing. Okay, can you see my screen because this suddenly there is okay, alright. Okay, so in the sensor system, okay, similar with this, there is material processing and material behavior. But in this sensor system, there is LIDAR sensor, radar sensor, overall sensor system, ultrasonic sensor, and camera. So we can also link this, okay, to each individual slide. Okay, so LIDAR is tap on the link, choose on the slide number 9. Okay, so radar is linked to slide number 10. So the overall system is linked to the page slide 13. So ultrasonic is linked to slide number 11 and camera to slide number 12. Okay, so this one. Okay, so if we want to test, to check, so we can also check one by one. But this one, this link back, it will go to the previous slide. So next, we'll go to the next slide. So exit, whenever we tap on exit, it will always go to the link, slide number 1. Okay, so and if we touch on the sheet, okay, it will always bring us to slide number 2. Okay, and this one link number 8. Okay, you can check randomly, but I believe it is in order now. Okay, let's test this simple lab. Right, so we have the first slide of introduction. Okay, introduction to engineering, and we tap on mechanical and manufacturing. So if we want to study on the material behavior first, we tap on the material behavior and we will go to this slide. Okay, so if you want to put audio, you can also do that. I will show you after this. Okay, so let's say this. Yes?
So I have a question for this slide face transformation. Basically, you are using GIF for this one?
Yes, I'm using GIF for this.
Thank you.
Okay, right. So let's say the student already learned about this. Okay, they already see this animation. Maybe you can put text, okay, and put audio, right? So they want to go next. Okay, then they go to magnetic field characteristic. I know it seems a bit off in terms of the content, but just assume that this is your content, right? So you can always put next, okay, what is the related and with your content, right? So this one is how in terms of corrosion, how the steel behave when it is exposed to moisture and create rust, right? So if they already completed on this material behavior, and they can always tap on the sheet to balik, okay, the plant inspector, and go to back to the material processing. And then here they can learn about what are the possibility for the material for metal rolling process, and this one is for the plastic injection molding, right? So okay, let's animate it first. Okay, so right. Okay, so basically that is how you created your simple virtual lab. You put this one as, okay, this put exit and go to the sensor system. Right, so you have to plan your content, what are the topic and what is the subtopic and how it will link with each other. Okay, is there any question before I proceed? So far so good?
Yes, so far so good. Thanks.
So far so good. Okay, alright. So, how to put audio? Okay. So, how to put audio in this keynote is, okay, can you see the tab? Okay, tap on the plus. Okay, go to this photo. Right, so choose record audio. Okay, so you can touch on the record, magnetic field characteristic. Okay, and touch on the stop. Right, you can preview it. Magnetic field characteristic. Okay, you can add. So if you agree on that, you can put on insert. If you want to edit, you can tab it. You want to remove this one, okay? So just slide over, okay, and preview. Magnetic field characteristic. Okay, this one. Magnetic field characteristic. Okay, so tap on trim and insert. Right? So we have audio in this magnetic field characteristic. Right? So we want this sound to be together with the animation. So what we can do is similarly, yesterday we learned about animation. Okay, so go to animate. Okay, put the order. So starting audio with the animation. Alright, so let's try. Magnetic field characteristic. Okay, so the sound will come out together with the animation. Okay, so you can put the sound to explain the process or put text. So how to put text, you already know, but just let me repeat in case you didn't join yesterday's session. Tap on the plus. Anything you want to add, you tap on the plus. Okay, so tap here. Okay, the second right button. This one, choose text. Okay. Character. 6. Straight lines. Okay. And so on. Okay. So let's say we want to rearrange so that it will appear here and this one. Okay. You can easily move and edit in terms of text and you can put audio to assist your explanation. Okay. And also animation all in the same slide. Okay. Alright. So is there any question? Dr. Jariah, is there any question from the participant?
Yeah, we can, participant can freely throw a question, unmute your mic and you can ask Dr. Zakiah to explain further.
Is there anything else that you want to know? So let's go to the sensor. All right. So let's say we have sensor and we already linked that to each of the slide. Okay. So when we touch on the LIDAR, so it will go to the LIDAR, right? So, and we can put animation in this slide. Okay. So let's go to next. Okay. So you can see that there is animation in this slide. Okay, blinking. Right? And this one is for okay, this one is for overall. Okay, we can arrange the order of which one to go out first, okay, from the bill order. Right? So maybe you want to show about the LIDAR first. Okay, this one in this case LIDAR will appear first. Okay, but maybe you want to change the ultrasonic will appear first. So you can always do that. Okay, tap on the animate. Okay, and this one is the bill order. Right, so here, okay, in this case, automatic, the ultrasonic is appear first. Okay, if you want to change that LIDAR will go first, okay, you can slide it up. Okay, so that this one animation, in terms of animation, it will appear first. Okay, go tap on after transition, meaning to say when we tap on this slide, it will automatically start the animation without we have to tap anything anywhere. Right, so here the shape will appear after it is white, okay, and blinking. And then the closer object, okay, this one is for drawing. Okay, so this drawing is go for ultrasonic sensor, so we can go after that, right? So okay, this one is about, let's preview. Okay, right, so now the LIDAR comes out first, followed by the ultrasonic sensor and the what is the and all, followed by all the other sensors. Okay, so this is how you how we can arrange the procedure in our lab, okay, one by one. So and put audio if we want, so that the student know what are the procedure in doing their experiment. Okay, but this is only this simple virtual lab is only is it blank screen now? Okay, so let me stop first. Okay, let me go to my keynote. Okay, so because in experiment we have three different objectives. Okay, usually is to show the real phenomenon or to either to find new discovery or test hypothesis and find for new knowledge. But for simple virtual lab, it's usually for just to visualize the phenomena, meaning to say the known phenomena, so that we can visualize it to the student without they go to the lab, right? So why the importance of this simple lab? Because it helps us to develop the cognitive learning for the student. Okay, if we can just give them something to read, text to read, maybe they cannot link with the understanding. Let's say, for example, there are 5 characteristics for the magnetic lines. So first, second, and so on. Okay, but if we combine with the simulation, with the animation, okay, so they will understand it better, and when it will help them to apply it in the real life. Okay, so in terms of the method, we have to define what are the parameters. Like what I did in my plant inspector, there is for the visual, the different thickness. So 25, 50, 100. So they can observe that from the different parameter that we set into. And third is the ethics. Okay, they know what are the procedure So if there is a standard, we have to put it also in our virtual lab. And also development of the personal skill. Obviously, this is not to compare with the actual practical, but at least they know the theoretical, they can strengthen the theoretical of their in terms of calculation and the visualization of the phenomena. Okay, so why it is important for us to have that simple visual lab is because maybe when I develop, my thinking is because we have limited instrumentation. Okay, so in FKM there is only one equipment each for 40 to 60 students. So for all students to have the experience to do that experiment, usually it takes longer times and a lot of session so that they can have their practice. So what I did was I show them this one first, okay, so that when they go to the practical, they can do it very fast because they know the procedure already. So they just repeat the visual test so that they verify how is the actual signal will be. Okay, so but now when we have the MCO, so we have to stay at home. We don't have any access to the lab. So I guess it is very beneficial for my student because even though they don't have that lab, but the lab comes to them, right? So when we plan, okay, our visual lab, we have to make sure that we know what is the concept, okay, so that whether we want them to just put on the procedure only, or we want to put that also we want to include the knowledge. But I think to put the knowledge or put our slide, okay, or lecture slide before they go further on their method is very important because then they can join the gap between the technical and the theory and the simulation of the actual phenomena, right? So I put it in industry because in this subject, NDT, it is used in the industry very extensively. So they must know what are the proper steps and what are standard related with the testing. And of course, when we do anything, any visual lab, okay, so we ask them to do report, right? So we have to put quiz and for them, okay, to test their knowledge retention. And also we have to make sure that there is a collaboration working still between the student. Okay, so how to plan is actually is simple 3-step. Okay, first you have to find what is the concept. Okay, this is basically like an app. Okay, where you can navigate everywhere according to your liking. Okay, so the second step is identify subject. Okay, which subject you want to show for your visual lab, and you develop it topic by topic. In my case, I put that in NDT. There is 5 methods, so I develop one by one using Keynote, right? So I started first with ultrasonic testing. Okay, so in terms of the pre-knowledge, okay, when I develop, okay, I put that I plan it to have a principle and apparatus and learn what is the how it is applied. Okay, but for the lab outcome, okay, this is application. Give the scenario. So that's why in the first slide you can see the crude oil processing, so that they get the idea where the procedure or the experiment will be put in. Okay, so in terms of the results, mostly this visual lab is based on observation, and we have to guide them what are the things that they have to report after the visual lab. Okay, the setup is mostly on the procedure. Okay, in terms of assessment, this is the example, results, quiz, report, feedback. Okay, we can choose any. Okay, if you can have 4, this all 4 is up to you. So we can plan at least have one of the things for us to assess whether our student already reach a certain level of understanding. Okay, so we can encourage work as a team even though they are in their home. Okay, so based on their observation, okay, they can we can encourage their discussion, okay, and follow the instruction accurately. Okay, so benefits of visual lab, okay, professionalism. Okay, so if we design the experiment, the visual lab properly, okay, so it will help us bind the curriculum and the future professional work. Okay, so gain experience even though they cannot touch that. Okay, but at least they know the fundamentals of the techniques, the phenomena and techniques so that they can apply it later. So in terms of competency, okay, usually when we do experiment, it is always followed by calculation, verification, so we can assess their competency there, okay, and also encourage the collaboration. Okay, I think that's all for my sharing for today. So is there any question that I can answer to?
Okay, all participants are invited to ask Dr. Zakiah any further elaboration, especially those with the iPad, MacBook.
So far so good. InsyaAllah nak kena revise balik tak hari ni dan cuba betul-betul yang virtual lab ni. Sebab it's really great talk and it's clear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Dr. Maniza. Okay, is there anything that I can ask about? Yes, if you want to ask for opinion, okay, maybe I can give you idea what are the things to do for your simple visual.
I have a question. How actually 2 questions. How long does it take for you to plan in advance? For example, I can see this is a 1 module of a virtual lab, okay? And how do you start your planning? I mean, how do you put things together? Because I'm thinking of doing my own too for my course. But I just feel a little bit overwhelmed. Where should I start first? You know, GIF or video, and you know, or should I put the content? You know, think about the content arrangement first. So could you please share how you work on this? Thanks.
Okay, so honestly, this one I created it a year ago, but to put that into a virtual lab, it takes about 3 weeks. But I started during this MCO. Okay, so what I started to do is using the plan. So I plan first what I want to put inside the visual lab. So what should be inside each topic. Okay, you can see that in my slide there is industry, the pre-knowledge, the method, instrument, test. Okay, so for each one, okay, so I divide according to the subtopic. Okay, and in terms of industry, I think it is very important. So that's why I put in because this one works as introduction to the visual lab. right? So knowledge is important because I think without the knowledge, let's say we, excuse me, we just give them to, okay, do this experiment without explaining that to them. So I think student will have difficulty to understand that experiment. So if we give that knowledge, okay, they supply them with the pre-knowledge before they do the experiment, okay, they always have option from uh, always has option from the method during the virtual testing and go back to the knowledge when they sorry tersedak. Okay, they can also go to the knowledge or pre-knowledge whenever they start during the experiment. Okay, so and the assessment is the last one that I developed because the most important thing for me is the procedure. Okay, because I foresee that my student has problems in understanding in terms of where the signal will appear. Okay, so when they calibrate and then they cannot expect when they calibrate the instrument. So when they do testing, even though they already calibrated that instrument, when do the testing, they don't know whether they got the correct results or not. So I think with this visual lab that I developed, it will help them better to understand and predict, okay, where is the location of the signal and where the signal appears. Okay. Okay, you can start, but I think
for the assessment,
yes,
is it your
student
is that on the university assessment for that particular course, or basically this is on top of the university assessment?
So the assessment is to is for the, because when they do the lab, they have to send the report. So the report is part of the assessment, right?
I see. Okay.
So there is the subject assessment.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Dr. Zakiah, ada soalan di chat tu from user. Not sure who's the user. It's not defined there. From user, Assalamualaikum Dr. Zakiah. Student kena ada keynote juga ke?
Tak semestinya, because we can save and convert it to HTML. So student with that HTML link can access from any device.
Okay, another question from Dr. Khairul Fazli. Dr. Zakiah, ada suggestion tak apa-apa free software of virtual lab for engineering?
Okay, untuk free apps untuk, okay, let me check. Okay, untuk physics, okay, because mostly my subjects are related with physics. Okay, kalau you can use Physics Studio, Play Physics, Physics 1, Physics Toolbox, Phys 2, okay, and Projectile. Okay, that one is all the related with the physics. Okay, there are a lot of free apps in the App Store. Okay, because I'm using Apple product, so I go to App Store, so you can search a lot of free apps there. Okay, but to find which one is related with your subject is quite difficult, because usually the developer of the subject is usually on that subject. So I guess for engineering, is lack of an opportunity to produce our own apps, right? So this is like the simple virtual lab is like simple apps for us. Okay.
Dr. Zakiah.
So is there any more questions?
I've one question. I mean, more opinion from you. How was this particular virtual lab can be used as a complementary for our unavailable experimental activities during this remote learning?
This one is right. So as I mentioned earlier, okay, for this I developed it with thinking that to help students before they went to the actual experiment. Right, so so my slide is basically from my lecture notes, so that's why you can see the animation are almost complete because I used that my lecture notes and compile it as a plan inspector, right? But in terms of procedure, I develop it bit by bit. Okay, mungkin satu hari satu GIF, right? Because it took a lot of time to develop that. Okay, so but I combine and arrange that to be a virtual lab within this MCO, and this subject will be offered next semester. So I think hopefully it will be ready to be tested with my student. But before this, okay, the feedback from my student in the last don't have as a one complete virtual lab, only here and there. Their feedback is that they understand it better, okay, in terms of prediction of the signal, what is the thickness or where is the location of the defect, only from the learning from the slide. Learning from my animation, the simple animation that I showed them. Right. So I think it can replace the actual lab, okay? But we have to plan it properly.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Dr. Zakiah. We have another, it looks like everybody were going to teach for lab session next week, next semester, can start preparing the virtual lab. 1 year, is it? 1 year or 3 months enough? Okay, there's another question, Dr. Zakiah. In terms of, from Dr. Farah Nadia, in terms of implementation, will the keynote virtual lab will be shared in ULearn?
This one, I'm not sure yet because I never tested it yet. Okay, but I think I can share it in ULearn too. Okay, but I never tested it yet because it is not complete, 100% complete.
Okay, another question. Since this virtual lab is developed using Keynote, is it possible to develop virtual lab using PowerPoint?
I never test it using PowerPoint, but I believe if you have Windows, okay, it can also be used in PowerPoint. As what in last session, some participants said they can also do GIF in PowerPoint. So I believe you can also do that using PowerPoint.
Okay. Any other question?
I don't have any question, but I'm just want to share something. I think this is very inspiring. I'm in health science field, but I can see that virtual lab or clinical lab. In my head, it's more like clinical lab. What clinical virtual clinic? Okay, and teach students about all these clinical procedures and you know how to give knowledge in advance to students. So this is very great session. So I need to allow myself for a year at least. I think that the biggest challenge is planning and put content in orders and then work through animation based on the plan. I think that that's how it should work. Because before this, I tried on animation and then tried to think about, you know, the content, and it just be like, oh no, it's too much. So I think when you explain it, and you during your sharing session, you mentioned about planning, and it took about a year, and I just started since PKP, since MCO, learning all these animations. So I think, okay, I'm not too hard for myself, so I need to be realistic. So at least few months from now, and hopefully I will share my virtual clinical with others.
Maybe I have correction.
But
Okay, I think I have correction. The 1 year is because I only prepare it on my free time. So if we have focus, because now we only stay at home, so I think we have more time to focus.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's very
because
difficult.
when I develop it, I only macam during weekends.
Betul.
So
Ha.
so macam you spend time on when you develop the free time. So because we have a lot of things coming in, right?
Yes.
I develop my day. But when I combine it together, so it took about only 3 weeks to make it
Yes.
for one for
Yeah.
complete virtual lab.
Betul. So I just feel it macam, you know, since MCO, since I started join Apple Education, I think on the 27, right? On the 27 April. So it's only few weeks, you know. Tapi I dah start learning about animation, everything. Tapi lepas tu I feel like, am I too slow? You know, lepas tu ataupun, I cuba find, you know, on top of other duties as a lecturer, as a mom, you know, and also to the family and in other responsibilities. I just feel like, am I too slow, or I just want to have a realistic, you know, thinking. So chat is very
No,
good,
you are not too slow. Yeah,
but it's good.
you have to just plan.
Yes.
Yeah, to prioritize and put what other things you want to develop so that you have to start that develop now, because if you don't start, then we will hilang lah.
Betul.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Maniza. Okay, Dr. Zakiah, there's a further question from Dr. Farah there in the chat. Can you answer to that?
Meaning, once we completed our virtual lab, the file should be shared among the students. Yes. So once it's completed, it will be shared among the students. Okay, so it will be shared among the student. But so far, I only shared the link with the student, and they can open it. I haven't tested it in ULearn yet. Okay, is there any question? Any other question?
Okay. Okay, it looks like everybody is looking forward to start their work, to start planning. Okay, Dr. Zakiah. So, is there any other question from participant? I think the participant will be able to contact Dr. Zakiah personally in private at zakiah@utem.edu.my for further elaboration on how she had done it and how can we learn from her in much more details. And I believe that we should thank Dr. Zakiah for the sharing. Although we may not have iPad or MacBook today, okay, but listening to the session has exposed us to what can be done in terms of to create more learning experience to our student, and some of us also had shared a few others software and apps that can be used for creating the same intention. And on behalf of CAES, we appreciate the sharing made by Dr. Zakiah. Thank you. And also we appreciate those participation from all the participants so that we can create this interest and giving us some ideas on how to plan and deliver and making a good learning experience to our students. And we also will try to find out a good training session perhaps in near future on how to create these online learning materials without iPad or MacBook. Please suggest us the speaker if you know somebody that is good to share. And last but not least, thanks again, Dr. Zakiah. We will be having another session tomorrow by CAES by TS Cik Ahmad Sharizan with the title Interactive Digital Classroom using Blend Space and Google Classroom. So we look forward for everybody to join the session tomorrow. Okay, our recorded webinar session today will be available at CAES website in 2 or 3 days. Everybody is welcome to download the materials and listen to the recorded webinar. Thank you and have a good day everyone. Selamat buka puasa.